Hey, afternoon, everybody. This is Matt Webster again, back with another video in my Christian Journey series. Um, I'm going to go down the next character down on my list, and that is Commander Erwin from Attack on Titan. Um, for anyone who hasn't watched Attack on Titan, it's a very interesting series. It's got very much the German versus Nazis feel to it, even so much so that people are oppressed and made to wear these things to identify themselves as part of this group. Kind of like what they did with the Jewish people in Nazi internment camps. Now, to get into this anime, people are stuck behind a wall um, because of these things called Titans. And Titans are colossal size humanoid beings that eat and destroy other people. Now, through the series, you find out that the Titans are actually the people that are stuck behind this wall, um, which is something that the commander, Erwin, and his group are desperately trying to find out because they have a want to knowing the history of the world and what's really going on. Uh, Kind of getting into this character, he's very much so somebody who goes after his goals. Um, he's even called himself the best con man. Better. Let's see, get down here. Um, an expert con man, a liar, and a betting man, according to the Heroes Wiki. And these are things that happened in the show. He even sacrifices hundreds of his own soldiers and stuff like that to achieve his goal. He's someone who's very strategic and very well planned. The truth of it is, though, is like he wants to know the history of the world and he wants to see his father's dream realized. But during his final moments in the series, he, instead of worrying about what's in this basement that they're trying to get to find out the world's secrets, he gives up his life in pursuit of the greater goal of all of humanity. For me, this was something that it's very noble. Most people don't even realize how noble an action like this is. He may have done some really bad things along the way and even sacrificed hundreds of men to reach his goal in pursuit of it. But he even threw himself on the front line last minute and sacrificed himself for the greater cause of all humanity. This is something I feel as men, it's something that very few of us even really think about anymore. The generation I belong to being millennials, I think this is a lost concept. Sacrificial love is something I've gone over in other videos, but I think this goes into a deeper level of it because to love your neighbor is to love yourself. I think is an embodiment of truth in this. Like, this is a man who's made terrible mistakes, sacrificed hundreds of people. And I know in my own life I've, made some really, really bad mistakes. Um, so this character for me represents like the past part of myself. And there's moments where I thought I was running cons on people, things like that, and been a liar. And whilst I have told numerous amounts of lies to achieve my goals, some of them were really, really bad. Some of them were not as bad as I'd like people to believe they were. But a lie is a lie. It's something I truly believe. This character, though, there's so much depth to it. And I think that sometimes when you realize the sacrifices you need to make to achieve your dreams and your goals, which is something I'm learning a lot about myself, is that there's a lot of things in order to achieve the things I want to do that I'm going to have to sacrifice. Um, Even so, more recently, with my friends, my first really close friend group, I've kind of gotten to a point where I've had to detach a lot from even that and wanting to help them because truth of it is that sometimes when you're climbing a mountain, you have to climb it by yourself. You can't always take your friends with you. You can't bring them up with you. And if they're really, truly good friends, sometimes they're going to understand why you had to go ahead, and figure out for themselves how to bring themselves up. When you're climbing mountains and trying to achieve goals, you shouldn't really let anything hold you back. Um, Friends and that, like, are great and all, but at the end of the day, if you ever feel like you're supposed to be doing something more, you're meant to do something more, there's probably a reason for that. And in those specific goals, you can't take baggage with you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Friends aren't baggage in particular cases, but in this case, it's more like you're trying to carry your own expectations and your own goals, and you can get weighed down by everyone else's. Um, and my thing is I don't like to like put my baggage on everyone else, because the thing of it is that sometimes you're built for carrying a load that others are not. And when your dreams are this big and your friends' dreams are only like that, you have to have an expectation of reality of that you're going to achieve these things because you believe in yourself. And when you believe in something bigger and you understand truly what it is that you're seeking and what you're going after, and you know and discover who you truly are, you can't expect everyone to come along with you for the ride. I think this character does a really good job of that. Erwin, even though he sacrificed a bunch of people, which not the greatest thing in the world, when you think about the goal that he was setting step by step by step, it becomes this thing of you learn to achieve things without the need of everyone else's approval. And sometimes the things you're going to do aren't always going to be great things. Sometimes they'll be small things, and small things can become big things. I kind of wanted to go over something too. Like I've mentioned before, I really love quotes and speeches. Um, I really feel like this speech, though, which by the way, he's one of the number sevens on my list of characters. He's the second seven, and his character it's absolutely incredible to me. Because this speech is something that's another one of those big inspiring ones, kind of like what Aragorn's was. Everything that you have thought had meaning. Every hope, dream, or moment of happiness. None of it matters as you lie bleeding out on the battlefield. None of it changes what a speeding rock does to the body. We all die. But does that mean our lives are meaningless? And this is only the first part of the speech. This is, like I said, a really good speech. It kind of makes you question things like you look back in a moment and blink. And something I do quite often is like I wonder, think about all the past things. And like I know you shouldn't really dwell on the past, but then you ask yourself if any of those things really mattered in this moment. And sometimes people get so caught up in their past that they forget to live in the moment, forget to live for the future. Uh, there's a great quote that goes along with this, which is yesterday is the past, tomorrow is a gift, and today is, future is unknown, and the today is a gift, or the present, so it's like a gift. Sorry if I'm screwing that quote up, but basically the idea of it is that every moment is a gift, and it's something we don't often get to count for. Going back to the speech, though, does that matter that there was no point in our being born? Would you say that our slain comrades, what about their lives? Were they meaningless? They were not. Their memory serves as an example to us all. The courageous fallen, the anguished fallen. Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them. And as we ride towards certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us. Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage. And this is a speech given in a moment when they know they're facing absolute death. And they're giving an opportunity for their best soldier to go and fight this incredibly, insanely ridiculous monster of a Titan. And it's just incredible because you think about the sacrifice there. He's not even just sacrificing himself and these men. He's sacrificing everything he's worked for, his dream, in a fleeting moment. But it's like he was saying, that sacrifice is not meaningless. Sometimes we think that the things we're going to lose, things we're sacrificing, are meaningless. But people often forget to ask what they're going to gain in return of that sacrifice. Because everything comes with a cost and comes with a price. But it also comes with something on the other side of that. So, like in my thing, I know giving up trying to help my friends get to the top of the mountain with me is going to allow me to get to the top of the mountain. And I'm going to get there probably a lot faster than I would if I was trying to bring them up with me. Having said that, I get the benefit of knowing that I'm going to be on top of that mountain. And with any kind of luck and hope, someday they will be too. They're just going to get there a lot slower. Having said that, if your dream is to change something and make something better, you need to go after it. You need to do it. As a man, especially, you can't wait for the world to give you permission. I'm also not the ask for permission kind of person. I've kind of learned over the years that the more you ask for something, the less likely you are to get it. Instead of asking, you should go after it, take it by force if needed. There's like all sorts of things to think about with history. It's that asking the world for something never gets you what you want. Which is why there's all sorts of things with the Bible talking about asking God and you shall receive. But it does require action. And I find myself to be a man of action. I'll go after what I want relentlessly until I've achieved it. Even so much so that I'm willing to put myself in a great amount of pain to do it. And that's just the way I think and how I act. Anyways, I'm kind of hoping what everyone gets from this video is that the pursuit of dreams, the sacrifice to achieve goals, and do things for the better of everyone is absolutely a quality that's worthy of making yourself a man. And like, that's a quality worthy of being a leader. And if we're going to build better leaders in the future and in this country, I think that's where we start. Start looking at characters like this. This is a great example of what real leadership really is. Anyways, next time.